All right. I'm solo tonight. So that's that. All right. Well, the Knicks win. They win 138-122 over the Suns, shorthanded Suns team. No Kevin Durant, no Bradley Beal. But the Knicks were absolutely ruthless offensively right from the start of the game. Just a spectacular shooting performance to start from Brunson, and then a dominant second half from Cat on the offensive end. Uh, Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. Before we talk more about the game, or before I guess I talk more about the game, uh, do need to mention this is sponsored by BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting, from the earliest odds to in-game live betting. BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen, with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL to entertainment and political props. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline. The game starts here. Uh, yeah, look, I think the Knicks. I don't really know what to say about the team. Offensively, they are. I mean, they're as good as it gets right now in the league. Trying to get the updated stats here from NBA.com, but they haven't counted this game yet. But the Knicks go to 9-6 on the season. Again, 138 points tonight. Jalen Brunson, 36. Just absolutely cooking to start this game. I mean, it felt like the start of the first quarter, he was in complete control. I think he had 11 points and 6 assists in the first quarter. Um, and then Karl-Anthony Towns, I mean, what can be said at this point that hasn't been said, continues to just put up absolutely bonkers offensive numbers. He finishes 12 of 19 from the field tonight for 34 points, 10 rebounds, uh, 2 assists, 3 of 8 from three. I mean, he's just dominant. I thought, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, all in double figures. They all chipped in their own ways. And honestly, the Knicks never really needed to get out of second gear to win this game, at least not on the defensive end. They were in control the entire way. They led by double digits, basically from midway through the first quarter on. Probably earlier than that. They were up 14-3 pretty much instantly. So, yeah, the Knicks were. I got to be honest. Like, I don't really know what there is to say about a lot of these games they've been playing recently, just because they're just so much better than a lot of these teams. Like the Washington game last time around. I mean, what the fuck is there to talk about in that game? They came out and you were like, within the first 5 minutes of the game, you're like, all right, if the Knicks even put together a single like 3-minute stretch of trying on defense, they're going to blow this team out of the water, and they did, right? And that's what they did in the start of this game against Phoenix too, where I don't even really think the defense had a particularly good stretch at any point in this game. They were active in the passing lanes early on. They had 10 steals in this game. I think they had 6 in the first half, maybe. But they had 16 transition points or 16 points, like fast break points in the first half. I mean, they were spectacular. They just got easy buckets. Again, Brunson's cooking. Josh Hart, I mean, I don't even know what to say about this guy. 19 points today, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. Bridges, again, 16 points on 14 shots, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and OG Anunoby, 14 points, 7 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, look, the Suns, to their credit, I thought they pretty much battled as much as you could. And they had a pretty nice offensive game in their own right. They go 45 and 92 from the field, shoot 48.9%. They shoot 38% from three on 19 of 50 shooting from the 3-point line, and they lost by 16 points. It's kind of scary how this team doesn't even need to really play defense half the time, and they can just blow teams out of the water. The Knicks again have another 30 assist game today, so chalk another one up there. The offensive numbers are just getting crazy. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of like, look, I will talk about the defense because there's a lot of stuff that was very. I know it's like stupid to harp on negatives when you win by 16 points and you kind of put up 138, but there's a lot of stuff defensively that they need to clean up. You don't want bad effort, lazy, execution in terms of rotations and all that type of stuff. You don't want that to become a habit. And you really don't want it to become a habit just because you're kind of like, well, it doesn't matter because we're going to put up 150 fucking points. But it's also hard not to allow that to happen because they pretty much scored at will in this game. Whenever they needed a basket, they were able to get a quality shot. Sorry about that. My internet crashed there for a second. But we're back. Yeah, no, again, like you don't want the defensive stuff to become a habit, but it's just hard. It's hard for it not to become a habit when you can score the way the Knicks can score. Also, I want to shout out Cameron Payne. I thought he played a really nice, solid game. A couple games in a row. Played 26 minutes tonight, 4-9 from the field, 12 points, 3 assists. But he's just giving you contributions. He's kind of helping you, you know, look, the Knicks bench we know is clearly not the strength of this team right now. And obviously with Deuce missing time, they're thinner than they already were with Precious out and Mitchell Robinson still out. We did get some good news that Thibodeau expects Precious to be practicing with the team before the end of this road trip. The sooner they can get him back, the better. They could really use his minutes. I also still will. I'm sure people are sick and tired of me saying this. I still really want to see him and Cat play together, not just because, I think it'll work, but I also think it'll work in a way that is different and gives us a different look than what we have available to us right now. Because Tibbs clearly does not want. He does not trust Sims to play with Cat, and they haven't used any double big looks really yet. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. But yeah, look, I don't know what else to really say about this game because the Knicks were just way better than them. And yeah, again, like the Suns shot well in their own right. They had a really good offensive game in their own right, but really didn't matter because this was never very competitive. I still can't believe it. The Knicks shot 50 of 86 from the field, which is it's fucking crazy. All right, let's get to some comments here. Let's see. HB Greg says, nice to see you back, Schwinn. Nice to see you again, HB Greg, and good to be back. I had taken a little bit of a hiatus. I think the last game I was on for was the Chicago game. So that's me. I am back. This is from Larry Israel. for me, that was Mr. Towns' best game. He handled a guy who tends to give physical bigs a tough time. He chewed up and spit out Nurk. He's great on the shows on Booker and was a force on the glass. Yeah, I thought Towns was good today. And look, defensively, he's always just going to have stuff that you're like, oh, God, like, I wish he could be better. But I thought he was fine. Like, I thought, to your point, like, he executed as well as you can reasonably expect him to execute. The issues the Knicks had on defense, I thought had way more to do with guys like OG had a weird defensive game. I think he was, look, I don't know what was going on with the refs today. Somehow Nurkic didn't get called for one moving screen in this game, which is bananas to me because every screen he set was illegal, every single one. At some point you got to whistle one of those, but I think he got caught up kind of trying to draw the refs' attention to that. He got 2 fouls pretty like in the first quarter. He picked up a third midway through the I think it was actually like 7.5 left in the second quarter. And I just think he was trying to play as well as he could defensively without picking up more fouls and getting himself into foul trouble. So not his greatest defensive game, but you know, I understand why. Mikal Bridges, I will just say this. It doesn't really matter, but he's got to play more physical than he is right now. Again, I don't want to harp too much on negatives on a game where they won by 16 points. They put up 138, but he was not interested in trying to fight through a screen at all. Again, I actually thought that the last 3 or 4 games from him were very encouraging in that sense. And tonight was just a total kind of regression back to some of the bad habits we had seen to start the season. That wasn't great. I really don't understand what's going on with him offensively. We're like, I get it. The mid-range shot for him is a good shot and he's really good at it. But when you're just not attacking the rim ever with force, I mean, he had that one I think it was maybe in the third or fourth or second half for sure, where he drove in and then he tries to he put up this weird floater thing shot over Nurkic instead of going at him, like driving into his body. And he drove into Nurk's body, but then he didn't try to finish through him. He just kind of tried to go straight up and draw contact that way. And it was just he's just got to play with more force. I don't know what is going on with him. I find this stuff very odd. Fred Katz had a piece today where he touched on some of the stuff. He had some interesting quotes in that from Mikal Bridges himself. Again, I understand the mid-range shot is good for him, but that cannot be the sum total of his offensive game. He cannot just be the mid-range god. He's got to attack the rim with more force. He's got to take threes more willingly. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll touch upon that more for the pod on Friday. But suffice to say, I did not come away from this game particularly impressed with Mikal Bridges' performance, even though he was basically okay. I thought he was pretty comfortably the Knicks. Honestly, I thought he was the worst player tonight, at least in the main rotation. I'm not counting Kolek or Sims in that conversation. I actually thought Sims was okay too, to his credit. So, and to be fair to Sims, I think he's been pretty okay over the last 7 games now. So, shout out to him. But yeah, Mikal Bridges, please just play with some physicality. Fight through a screen. I just talked about OG wasn't getting calls fighting over screens on Nurkic. At least he's trying though. He's trying to fight through that screen with physicality, right? Mikal Bridges is just not. He just wasn't. And if you're not trying to fight through a screen, you're not going to draw a moving screen foul. You're not going to draw that violation. So he's got to be better, and they're going to have way stiffer challenges than this Phoenix Suns team without Kevin Durant, without Bradley Beal, and obviously a center rotation that is fucking bad. Just not a good center rotation. John Leary says, great team win. Cat and Brunson are awesome. Think you could make a case Josh Hart is playing the best ball he has yet. OG is OG. Mikal still searching, in my opinion, not a ton of touches and still not getting to the rim, but in due time, I hope he gets there. Yeah, I mean, I basically just touched on all that. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't co-sign a comment more than this. Yeah, I thought Josh Hart is definitely, I think I don't even think it's a question. He's playing the best ball of his career. And, he's always going to have moments where you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But you will always live with that because I thought Jamal Crawford really who I enjoyed on the broadcast today. I thought he was a little awkward to start, but he really got comfortable as the game went on. But he touched upon it, towards the end of that game. I think it was after that crazy offensive rebound that Josh Hart that hit the top of the backboard twice, and then came back down. He grabs it, puts it back in for a putback. But he talked about how there's just stuff that Josh Hart does that is not it's not normal, and they're not things that really anybody else is capable of. He just fills the box score, and he fills in the gaps on his team in a way that's, I think it's pretty special, man. I've criticized Hart in the past at times, and I think he's deserved it, but I think he is the kind of soul of this team. Meaning, I guess he's the heart of the team, to be very pun intended, but he really is. There is a certain physicality and energy that he plays with that this team always needs. Every team needs that, and he gives it to you in spades. I mean, he's just fucking awesome, man. He's playing great, and he deserves all the kudos that he's getting, because, man, the level he's at right now is fucking crazy. Jordan Bubb posted this. Mikal Bridges' last 5 games, 18.2 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 3.6 assists per game, 59 true shooting. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I just criticized the guy. But yeah, I mean, this is his probably what you're hoping is his worst level, and he had 16 points on 7 of 14 from the field, right? 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Yeah, you would like more in 40 minutes maybe, but that's also a function of just this team has so many weapons, and it's not always going to be one guy's night. I mean, it might always be fucking Brunson and Cat's night, but the other guys, OG and Hart and Mikal, they just have to slot in and find their touches when they get a chance. And sometimes the ball's going to find you, sometimes it's not. I thought tonight, Mikal, there were moments where he was kind of a bystander in the offense, and that's not even necessarily on him. In a lot of those instances, it was also just a case of, hey, Brunson and Gat had it going. What are you going to do? Yeah, big task at hand. If you miss against the Knicks, you pay. Yes. This Knicks team, again, offensively, they are, wow. Judah Bencher says, remember when people thought Randall plays the same sport as Cat? 2 hands up. That was me. No, Cat he's a different level of offensive talent. And the fact that the Knicks are using him at the 5, and not just that they're using him at the 5, but how they're using him. I forgot who posted the numbers the other day, but the Knicks are just getting him. They're not using him just as a pure spot up threat the way Minnesota was. And I understand why Minnesota did that, right? Because he's playing at the 4 and Gobert's at the 5. So you just kind of have to use, Cat needs to provide spacing, and that team was already limited in its spacing last year as it was. So I understand why that was the case. But I think myself and many others, and really I think the majority of people, really underestimated and maybe forgot how dynamic of an offensive weapon Cat is at the 5. And he really is. It's not like he is probably, or maybe, the biggest reason Knicks are, they've been a really good offensive team the last couple of years anyway, but I don't know if anybody would call them an offensive juggernaut. This team is an offensive juggernaut. They can score in bunches, and they don't need to play grifter ball, right? They don't need to get to the free throw line. They don't need to get extra possessions and crash the offensive glass like crazy fucking banshees, because they are just so efficient from the field. I mean, I think coming into tonight, they were second in true shooting, second in effective field goal percentage. I think they're 4th or 3rd or something in 3-point percentage. They're just so efficient. They make shots. You don't need to crash the offensive glass and be an awesome offensive rebounding team if you're really good at making shots, and they are. So, yeah. Shawnye says defense was shaky, but no Deuce, Precious, or Mitch. Yeah, I mean, Deuce, look, Deuce is their best point of attack defender. I know OG has his moments too, and OG's fucking fantastic defensively, but you don't want him on you don't want him on point guards, right? You don't want him defending Tyus Jones and these little jitterbug guys like Fred VanVleet earlier in the season against Houston when he roasted us. Deuce is way better equipped for that. And you miss that for sure. You can see that at times in every game, really, without him. And the Precious or Mitch thing, I mean, the Precious and Mitch thing is interesting because as much as I like both of them, and obviously, look, Mitch is a better player than Precious, but there is something, one, if both of them come back, it's a little tricky because I don't know how you play those guys together. I don't think you can play them together. I don't want to see them play together. I do not want to see what that offense looks like. I really don't. So that'll be an interesting scenario if and when that occurs. But yeah, I mean, I think they could really use Precious back. I think he might be the best. If he's not the best athlete on the team, I think OG probably is the best athlete on the team. Precious is the second best athlete on the team, and he gives you. He's a guy who can really switch. He's really athletic for his size. He can switch across multiple positions, so he gives you another dude who can do that. And again, I just think that him next to Cat would be it'd be a effective pairing and a different pairing from what we can offer right now. He's also probably the best offensive rebounder on the team, so there's a value to that too. Again, I know I just mentioned like the Knicks don't need offensive rebounds. They don't need them, but if you could have a guy who can give you that value, it'll be pretty beneficial. Obviously, Mitch provides that as well, but Mitch is interesting. Mitch and Cat, I think, would work really well together. Cat obviously worked well with Gobert. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to turn this into the what's going to happen to Mitchell Robinson post game. I just am not sure that Mitchell Robinson is long for this team. But that's neither here nor there right now. Omar Yusuf says Tyler Kolek. Yes, that's correct. Hit a three. Wonderful outlet pass for an assist in the fourth quarter. Basically won us this game on his own. No, I mean, look, pretty nondescript game from him, but I don't know what to expect of him when they basically had Campaign running the show when they were on together, and Kolek was he was just spotted up in the corner. I didn't think he was particularly I didn't watch him defensively today and felt like, wow, they're just destroying him. But I also didn't notice him doing anything spectacularly good. So, I don't know, kind of a nothing game in that sense. And maybe that's okay for right now. Maybe you just need somebody to eat minutes on various nights. And if he can just eat some minutes right now while he's getting, used to the NBA speed and all that stuff, that's fine with me. I have no issue with that. Jordan Bubb says the Brunson, Cat, Hart, Bridges, OG lineup played 21 minutes, 46 seconds together tonight against Suns. They outscored them 68-45 with 151.1 offensive rating, 48.8 net rating, and 83.4 true shooting. Pretty good. Look, if this team, when they have it together on certain nights, offensively, they're pretty unstoppable. And if they get ahead, it's really hard to make a comeback on this team in the sense that even when you make runs, and look, credit to Phoenix, they kept trying to make runs to get back into this game. And every time, they'd cut it to 13 and then the Knicks make, they get 2 straight buckets and it's 18. And they cut it to 12 and then it's 2 straight buckets at 17. They cut it to 11 and it's 3 straight threes and it's back up to 20. You just have to keep scoring on this Knicks team. And when they get ahead, it's hard because they're just going to keep the scoreboard ticking along. I don't think you never want to play from behind against anybody, but I really don't think you want to play behind against a team that can score the way the Knicks can. So yeah. HB Greg, Campaign actually good. Yeah, I like Campaign tonight. And I think that he's going to be solid for the Knicks all year, I know there was a lot of people that were like, well, after preseason, it was like, well, Kolek's playing really well. Do we really need Campaign? I mean, look, this is why I was never really going to be upset about Tibbs not playing Kolek a bunch and going with Campaign because I think Campaign is a good backup point guard. Look, what team Campaign would help? Probably the fucking Philadelphia 76ers, who are a fucking embarrassment of a team. Lost to a skeleton squad Grizzlies team again today. They are now 2-12 on the season. Just a brutal season so far for Philly. Shout out to Joel Embiid, though. He went 10 of 21 from the field, had 35 points, and you might be thinking, wow, he must have been crazy from the three-point line. No, actually, he only scored 21 points on 21 shots from the field tonight, but he did go to the line 14 times, and he made all 14 of his free throws. I'm sure that was super fun to watch for everybody that tuned into that fucking barn burner. But hey, good job for Joel Embiid. I heard he even showed up to the game and early today. So really big of him to make that commitment as a young 30-year-old superstar. Good job, Joel Embiid. Go fuck yourself. HB Greg says Phoenix had no crowd. You could hear all the players. Yeah, I don't know. I watched it on MSG. I thought the audio it felt like they were not picking up the crowd noise at all. I don't know. But yeah, it was very quiet. There was no energy in that stadium or in the game. Like, I don't know. Somebody in our Discord posted this because I mentioned, I was like, hey, like, the defensive intensity, I think it was during the second quarter, I was like, Knicks defensive intensity is pretty bad right now. And somebody was like, yeah, this game has the intensity of an all-star game. And it did feel like that at times defensively, like both ways. It was weird. Kenny Mears says, Josh Hart refusing to look at the basket in the preseason to this shows preseason is stupid. Preseason sucks. Preseason is dumb, and anybody that cares about preseason beyond are guys getting minutes in so that they can just get their conditioning up, and are they not getting hurt? That's all that matters in preseason. Hawkeye 420, 28 late night degenerates in here. Hit that like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Yes. Hit the like button, subscribe. Obviously, if you have not done so already, would be a huge help to us. And thank you for all the comments, guys. It is a help to me because, again, I have no deep thoughts. I have no deep, like, I'm happy. I don't know who I think it was Sam and Tyrese that were on for that Washington post game, the last game. I don't even know what the fuck you could talk about. That game was a joke. This game was kind of a joke, too. I mean, I don't know what takeaway to have from this game other than Knicks offense, very good. Yes, I noticed this too. Kenny Mirror, great point. Knicks in rotation went out to contest on the wing, only to leave open a better shooter wide open in the corner. Happened about 8 or 9 times tonight, but scoring so easily on their other end, harder to lock in. Yeah, this is like the problem, where it's like I get mad about that, but then simultaneously I'm like, I kind of understand it because they're just scoring so easily. It's like natural to kind of just fuck around on defense, but again, the Knicks got to be careful with this because you do not want to fall into this habit, because you get into this habit and it's hard to break it. It is hard to break it. They have got to get their attention to detail cleaner defensively. They have to clean up. They have to know what they're doing. And it's frustrating because at times you see them executing exactly what you want to see in terms of switching and, trapping the ball out or hard hedging, whatever. They're able to execute it. It's about doing it consistently. And to the point Kenny's making here, like, hey, man, I don't think you need to rotate. If Ryan Dunn wants to take a wing 3, go for it. I don't think you need to rotate to him and leave Royce O'Neal in the corner or Grayson Allen in the corner or Monty Morris in the corner or fucking whoever in the corner, right? Like, I know Nurkic out of his fucking ass went 3 or 4. The guy was shooting 10 of 38 from 3 today. You are coming into today's game, Yusuf Nurkic. He went 3 or 4 from 3. But just you have to live with that. That's fine. Like a Nurkic 3, especially above the break threes, that's like pretty much a possession you sign up for. Right, you're like good with that. But you gotta like not bite towards those above the break guys, especially when they're poor shooters and the guys in the corner. This is just basic stuff, and they got to clean it up. Again, they're gonna play better teams than Phoenix, and a couple of them are coming up on the schedule quite soon. Denver on Monday, and then Dallas on Wednesday. Those will be still much different challenges than this. They also have a game against Utah on Saturday. You don't want to fuck around and drop games that you shouldn't. They already dropped a game against Atlanta that you really shouldn't have dropped. You dropped a game against Chicago, which I understand. That was a back-to-back. I get it. But it's that's one that you would like to win, obviously. You would hope to win, but they didn't do that. So you do not want to get into these habits, and you don't want to especially do it because you're not going to shoot. Brunson's not going to just come out of every game and make every fucking shot for like a quarter and a half. You're not just going to score 44 points every first quarter. So you got to be careful with that. And the Knicks obviously need to be careful with that. Some more comments here. Hawkeye 400 says his hair is not grayer than Grayson, Ted Cruz, Jr. Allen's. Yeah, the amount of gray I have in my beard is about on par with how much fucking gray hair Grayson Allen has. Jesus, that guy looks like he's just getting ready for his gubernatorial campaign in Phoenix for as head of like the Republican Party there or something. Christ. All right, here we go. Hawkeye 420 says, do we know when Deuce can be expected back? I don't know. They haven't said anything. They keep saying he's day-to-day, but then he's been listed out the day before, both against Washington and Phoenix. We already knew he wasn't going to play yesterday. So, they're saying they're just trying to be cautious to make sure that there's no setback, and that is the right way to approach it. So no timetable, but if they're saying day to day, you would hope. I have a feeling they will sit against Utah and then be back on Monday against Denver. Feels like maybe they're utilizing hey, we think we can beat these teams even without Deuce. We don't really need him to win these games, so let's rest him up here. And yeah, we'll see. Okay, I think you will need him against Denver because I would think Jokic will be back by then. I believe I think his wife is expecting. So assuming she gives birth, you'd expect him to be back by then. So we'll see. HB Greg says, has Sims been good enough to make us think we don't need a backup center? I don't think so, but I also think Precious is fine as your backup center. Like I'm fine with that. I don't need them to go if they're going to spend assets in a trade to upgrade or get something. Personally, I would like to see them get somebody who is more physical and like a physical perimeter oriented player, somebody who can switch, somebody who can defend multiple positions. I think that is more along what they need than another center. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your questions. H.B. Craig, is Mikal 5 first-round picks better than Grimes? Yeah. Fuck Grimes. Grimes is annoying. We don't need to talk about our the prodigal son. Fuck him. Jason Arvalo. Mikal probably playing less physical because he knows how much Tibbs is going to use him. Maybe. But all I can do is judge him on what I'm seeing on the floor. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going through his head. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know why he's playing the way he is. But you got to get to that. I mean, like I was watching that. I was watching that Boston Cleveland game last night, and I thought the physicality in that game. I really appreciated the refs just kind of letting them play. Like I mean, they were really not calling a lot. In fact, I even felt like Boston probably got a worse whistle in that game, which was weird since they were at home. But you watch a game like that, and I'm like, man, I would like to see Mikal Bridges show me the level of physicality I saw in that game. I'd like to see that more consistently from him. He's shown it in instances, he's shown flashes, but it needs to be consistent. He's got to deliver, obviously, because look, the Knicks, I mean, as mentioned before, 5 first-round picks, whatever, like they gave up a king's ransom for the guy. You need him to be the best version of what you traded for. And right now, he's not that. And I think it's okay for us as fans to expect more. The Knicks certainly look, if they didn't give up what they did, not expecting more from him than they're currently getting. And it's not even to say that he's been horrible. I think he's in a lot of ways been, I don't want to say scapegoated, but I think he gets a lot of the focus of when things go bad because we're all like, look, there's a sticker shock at the price and all that type of stuff. But, the criticism is that you're going to get criticized when a team gives up what they gave up for him. And you have moments of like where you're just not fighting over screens with any physicality and you're, shying away from contact offensively and stuff like that. It's going to happen. Poxter says giving up 120 to a KD Beal-less Suns kind of worrying. It is, and then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know how locked in they. It's like I go both ways with this. Where I'm like, there are things that concern me defensively, while I also understand why like you're maybe not going to be super locked in when you just come out and drop 44 points right off the bat, and it feels like anytime you absolutely need to score, you can get a bucket. So, yeah. Sorry. Well, Clyde Fraser says, I've long lobbied for Crawford to do color for MSG. I thought he was good to have it. Have him and McNutt trade off when Clyde hangs them up. Keep Han in the studio, launch Wally into another Galaxy cluster. Cosign. Yeah, I don't like Han on the broadcast. I don't think he's good at that. He's fine in the studio. That's what he's best at. I don't like him on the game broadcast. I think he's pretty poor at it. And I agree. Look, I think Jamal grew into it tonight. I thought he was good. And look, Breen, for all my criticism, he is good at kind of bringing his fellow commentators into the game and letting them kind of get comfortable. And I thought he did a good job of that today. So, yeah, man, I agree. Like, I would like to see him on. I would like to have Monica McNutt on more. I think they're both good. HB Greg, do we miss on Dalton Connect or Ryan Dunn? Yeah, I mean, look, the Dunn thing, I'm not closing the book on him. I'm not even saying much about him. But the guy hit some threes in preseason early in the season, and I was like, oh, my God, what did they know? Like, what does this say about scouting and all this type of stuff? And it's like, maybe let's pump the brakes. Let's see where he's at after like a 20-game sample. And even that's not necessarily saying anything for a rookie player, but I know he went 2 of 4 from 3 tonight, but I was not particularly impressed with him. Definitely not offensively. Defensively, you can kind of see flashes, but Brunson had his number early, and he he definitely put it on him. Jordan Bubb, Jalen and Cat scored or assisted on 93 of 138 points. I think this is what the Knicks front office envisioned. Yeah, I mean, this is 100% what they need. So, yeah. Larry Israel, what I am infuriated by is that this 4-game winning streak should be a 6-game winning streak if not for a basketball Jalen Brunson shot defying the law of physics. I agree. That was a very frustrating loss to the Bulls, especially given that the Knicks came all the way back in what would have been one of their probably. I mean, look, we don't know how the season will unfold, but hard to imagine that there would have been many better wins. That there will be many better wins over the course of a season than coming back from whatever it was, 21, 22 down, and dramatically coming back to snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat. But then it was not to be. But yes, frustrating. But yeah, look, to the point you're making here, Knicks have won 5 of 6. And I know that this is kind of like the cupcake portion of their schedule here, but that's what you got to do, right? You got to fucking handle the cupcakes, and stack those wins. And look, the East is just not good right now. Like, I mean, I'm just looking at the standings here. If you look at the conference, the Knicks are in third right now at 9-6. They are a half game up on Orlando. Somehow Miami has only played 13 games so far, which is fucking wild. They're 6-7. But like, I mean, you have a chance here to get real separation from where the Knicks are at the 3 to that play-in range. Right now, Detroit is the 6th seed and they're 7-9, right? So you want to get as much separation as you can. And shout out to Philly, last in the conference, 2-12 through 14 games. They're really, really doing great work there. What an offseason by Daryl Morey. Please give him his flowers. The Knicks' duo are the first teammates to both have 30-point double-doubles this season per ESPN. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. Hold on. Anyway, Poxer says Mikal defense at the beginning was old Mikal. Not sure why his defense got lazy. I don't know. I don't know. The Mikal thing is just, you just got to hope he figures it out at this point. There's really nothing else to say. Well, Clyde Fraser says Grayson Allen is probably named the Matt Gates ethics report. Yeah, probably. Larry Israel. Brunson 16-20 from 3 in his last 2 in Phoenix. Yeah, spectacular, man. They must be so happy he's out of the conference. You only got to see him once a year at home and only one more on the road. So halfway through it, guys. Don't worry. We'll get you there. Shanye says, if Brunson keeps playing like this, we'll get more takes about him being anti-union in the face of labor exploitation. Those takes over the summer, man. What a fun time that was. One sec. I'm trying to get through more messages. Just a lot of weird stuff. MW says, let's go Strickland. Yeah. Let's go Strickland and go you, MW. Go you. Or you just said, shut up, Jordan. I just found out who you are. Here we go. MW. MW says, question, do we think Josh Hart's inclusion in the starting lineup stopped the team from scoring 150? He might. Look, I get the concerns about him. Is he shooting? Will he shoot? What's his gravity like? Our team's going to ignore him behind the 3-point line. I just think you're missing so much of what I think he's the guy that's capitalizing the most on the spacing, the way he's attacking the rim, the way he's finishing inside this year. And then you just look at everything he does, man. 11 rebounds again, 6 assists. He's your second highest assist guy. Like, he's just filling up the box score and he's connecting pieces of this team in ways. I think he's the guy who has the most natural chemistry on the floor right now with so many different guys. And like, I don't even think the Knicks are not even, they're still developing as a group. Like, there's all this stuff with him that you can do as a screener. And we saw it last year, obviously. They had to lean into that a lot more, obviously, when Julius was out. But I mean, it's going to happen here too. He's going to be great. Oh, by the way, NBA stats just updated. The Knicks are now second in the entire NBA in offensive rating. They have 122.1 offensive rating. Cleveland's at number 1 at 123. They have a plus 6.5 net rating, which is pretty great. They are, trying to do the nerd stuff here. Per 100 possessions, again, me being a boomer here. Per 100 possessions, they are third in assists, 28.6 assists per 100 possessions. Just to give you some context, Golden State is number 1 at 29.6, so just one more per 100 possessions, and Denver is second at 28.8, so just 0.2 behind Denver. I mean, these are the hallmarks of a healthy offense. They are second in the league in 3-point percentage after tonight at 39.5% from three. They are, you want to see them continue to get more attempts up. They are now 13th in 3-point attempts per game. So, can they get that up? Can we get up to like the top 10 in 3-point attempt rate? That would be nice. You would like to see that. But yeah, the Knicks are also third in free throw percentage. So just a lot of really great data for the Knicks this year. They are second in effective field goal percentage at 58.6. They're second in true shooting percentage at 61.6. Again, this is just really, really good. And they're third in defensive rebound percentage, by the way, 73.4 per NBA.com. All these stats from NBA.com. Hold on. HP Greg, if Deuce was starting, it would be 15-0 and score 200 points per game. It's possible. It is possible. Still kind of mad at that tech after the slim slam in the first half. That was BS. I don't know what that was. They said it was on Rick Brunson. I don't even know what the hell he did. I thought initially they called it for Sims for like launch, like, because he kind of swung on the rim a little bit, but he was just trying to protect himself and then got off once he realized nobody was staying underneath him. But yeah, I mean, who knows? That was so weird. Poxer says real big first test will be Doncic and the Mavs. Hope the Knicks can make more of a statement. I'm actually I think the Knicks are going to get smoked in that game. That's my hot take, especially if Deuce is still out at that time. But look, the Knicks screen coverage, the pick and roll coverage has not been their strong suit for sure so far this year. And the Mavericks have two of the best pick and roll ball handlers in the league, and they have dynamic role men in terms of finishing and being a vertical lob threats, and Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. So hopefully the Knicks surprise me, and they're going to be locked in moving forward defensively. But I worry about that game for sure. I think that could be a bad matchup for us. JK says, I think the concerns about their defense is overblown for tonight's game. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like, again, I tried to preface this as much as I could. They were just so comfortable offensively that it's hard not to let that seep into your defensive effort. Jason Arvalo says, Hart's taking the shots he has to take at least. Yeah, and he's also apparently the best end of shot clock scorer ever now. So that's cool. Great development from Josh Hart. I'm a big fan of it. I think Hart can improve on defense. He definitely can. I mean, he's space cadet sometimes, and he's not really locked in, but you have to live with that. He's giving you so much, so much, and I'm fine if he has some space cadet moments on defense. All right. Honestly, I think this is fine, guys. I appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight. The Knicks actually, again, they just smoked this Suns team. It was a joke. But, we'll take it. We'll take it. I'm happy with every win we get. Stack them wins up. Let's get 10 on Saturday. Let's get it to double digits. And let's go from there. All right. Thank you to everybody in the chat for the comments. Appreciate all of that. And thank you for hanging in here when my internet conked out for a couple minutes there. Appreciate you all. So that is the show for today. I'm not going to be on Saturday. I will be out on Saturday, but I should be on Monday. So we'll see everybody then. We will be dropping the pod. Me and Prez will be dropping that. This week's pod, we'll drop that on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want full access to that and access to the Discord and everything. It's a fun time. And other than that, I don't have anything else to plug myself. So, hey, everybody enjoy whatever is left of your night. Maybe just go to sleep. Probably the best idea. And I'll catch you later. Thank you to our sponsor, Bet Online. Peace.